Welcome to the August Q&A from the Tau team. So let's kick it off. So the first question is from Red, and they ask, I remember in the old days of Tau Chain and Zenit on the Facebook group, discussions would revolve around how we were going to be better than Ethereum. Is that blockchain part of us still somewhat in the scope from the team's end, or has course shifted?
So yeah, definitely. I mean, the blockchain part is still an integral and core part of the whole Tau. And whether Tau will be better than Ethereum, ultimately, I mean, you can judge for yourself. Ultimately, Tau will be able to become whatever its users collectively decide how they want Tau to be like. So it's a blockchain that can upgrade itself in alignment with users' consensus with each block. So depending on how users want to behave, it can become whatever they want to. So practically, Tau solves a lot of the issues in governance currently with Ethereum, and therefore I think it's safe to say that it definitely will be better than Ethereum once it is released.
All right, thank you very much, Killian. And this next question is from Ninja, and they ask, which Ethereum chain will Agoras be honored when and if the ETH network splits into ETH proof of work and ETH proof of stake? We don't actually have a complete answer for this just yet, but we will focus on making sure that the token holders are at the forefront of any decision made. And we're going to make sure that we have some support for the community members that whatever option we end up choosing, that they are well taken care of. And also, no tokens will be lost in that process as well. Next question is from San Lorenzo, and they ask, in Agoras, Tau matches person A's opinion as needed for person B's question. Does person A set the price for their opinion? And what happens when A and C have the same opinion? Who gets the profit for that opinion? And does the first commenter get the ownership of the opinion?
It's up to user how to behave. You can set certain terms to your question, like do someone can set the price for the opinion, or who will get the first ownership of the opinion, or you can set no configuration and you will get all kinds of the opinions and with all prices. So it's up to you. It's flexible. It's configurable. Thanks.
All right, thank you very much, Andre. And the next question is from Felix, and they ask, when will there be a technology demonstrator for Tau that proves some of the advantages and capabilities of Tau to the general public, something that couldn't easily be replicated?
In my update, I spoke about the Tau language and the implementation efforts, and this is something that can be demonstrated and cannot easily be replicated. I hope if everything goes well, in a few months we will have it implemented. Another thing that is towards fruition in implementation, from implementation point of view, is the proof of execution. So one can write a TML program and provide a proof of execution that the output is the correct output. Yes, and that's yet another thing that can be demonstrated.
All right, thank you very much, Ahad. And the next question is from Anonymous, and they ask, what is the difference between normal human language and controlled natural language, the language that both man and machine will understand? Do we need to learn some sort of formal language like a prerequisite in order to participate in Tau's discussion? If so, could you give some reference materials? I would like to participate. Thanks.
Yes, so controlled natural language is a subset of human language. So things written in controlled natural language, they can be read as usual. You read it as a usual sentence. But to write in controlled natural language then comes under certain rules, and it makes sense to have software tools that help you write in controlled natural language, like proposing you how to complete a sentence, possibilities to continue the sentence, or options to choose from, or taking pure natural language and using NLP techniques to propose to you which controlled natural language option is exactly what you mean to say. There are several controlled natural languages out there. Maybe the most relevant one is ACE, Attempto Controlled English, but we will have to develop a new one because our underlying logical language is not something that exists. So we will need to develop a controlled natural language for this specific language, the Tau language. And luckily we have Professor Franconi, who not only developed already controlled natural languages, but he's also a great expert in this very field. So this puts us on a great position towards this goal.
Thank you very much, Ahad. And the next question is from Carla. They ask, hi, Ahad, you told us you would solve a very old math problem because it's in the way of the development of Tau. Are you going to publish your results, and what is its impact on the Tau project?
Well, for publishing, that's an ongoing dilemma. On one hand, publishing can give more reputation to the project, but on the other hand, it is a risk of competition. So that's an ongoing dilemma. I don't know what to do in this regard. And its impact on the Tau project is, as I described in the update for this month, this allows us a better software specification language, better in many aspects. One of them is the ability to speak about its own sentences, something which is strictly necessary for the laws of changing the laws, for conditions for the next version of Tau. People write what they want the next version to be like. They're able to put some conditions like the next version should never send private data over the network. Another impact is from performance point of view. After all, logical AI field is always constantly struggling with having algorithms and implementations that run in reasonable time. And this new method of solving statements about infinite Boolean algebras is an important step towards more efficient implementation.
All right, and this next question is from Ninja, and they ask, is the wallet app for Mainnet already in the works? How much is being done concurrently, and is there a roadmap?
So currently we don't have a mainnet wallet in development because we are still based on Ethereum, and everybody who is holding Agoras uses wallets that support Ethereum, for example, MetaMask. Once we are approaching mainnet, of course, developing our proprietary wallet for our mainnet will be one of the priorities.
Thank you very much, Killian. And the next question is from Gilbert, and they ask, 1, any future plans to promote Tau on crypto conferences? If so, most probably which country? It does make sense, actually, if there is already a working product on hand. This would make Tau much more convincing to promote. And then secondly, they ask, we would like to see more pictures rather than long wordy sentences on the website. This makes it more interesting to the viewers. Would tau.net be used also as the website for Agoras Live? All right, yes, we do have plans to promote Tau in crypto conferences going forward. Absolutely. As we get closer to product releases, we're going to be showing that around and showing it off everywhere. So absolutely, that's in the future. In terms of the country, the main places that we see crypto and blockchain most prominent in the world. So, Europe, London, the US, wherever we can be, we will be. Secondly, the plans to promote Tau using imagery, that is also coming as we finish our refresh and rebrand. We're going to be working on the visuals heavily, so that's still all in the plans, and all to come. The next question is from Troy, and they ask, is there any demo or prototype for any user use case or examples for developers for thinking of how to integrate Tau into existing apps?
Yeah, the main demonstration site right now for TML is tml.tau.net, where we have a complete IDE, and you can actually go in and either play with existing TML programs or write your own TML programs. So the IDE is a very good place to start TML.
All right, thank you very much, Karim. And the next question is from Marco. They ask, is there a bridge to BNB Binance Chain planned, and if yes, when?
Binance Chain is a great chain with low fees, and we will consider it this autumn, of course.
And the next question is from Sage, and they ask, what options to deploy the mainnet on a chain have you been looking for, and is there a technical reason to not deploy as Kusama/DOT and Parachain? I know the community there and the devs and all the users are open for collaboration and new ideas. It might be the ideal breeding ground for this kind of new tech, but of course, maybe it's technically impossible. I would love to hear about that. Well, we couldn't actually deploy the mainnet on another chain because it wouldn't have the same functionality as Tau. So we need to create the Tau chain mainnet to be able to actually be able to have the functionality that we need, for example, to be able to control the whole blockchain by its user base, which other blockchains don't have. Next question is from Sir Andrew. So Andrew asks, hi Ahad, as you've mentioned last 2 years in the question and answer, the most challenging problem of Tau would be on how to make it usable. What is the progress of this important milestone today? Thank you.
So I think the progress up until today on this important milestone is having the knowledge representation aspect of the system compatible to a large degree with existing knowledge representation languages, also called description logics. And this means that the whole huge world of description logic, which includes the world of semantic web, suddenly becomes relevant, including all tools that have to do with usability become relevant indeed.
All right, thank you very much, Ahad. And the next question is from round 2, and they ask, 1, is the Chinese version of the white paper still on progress? Are there plans for other languages to translate it? And when can we expect the release of the alpha discussion platform? So I can answer part of that already. We already have the Chinese version of the white paper. We are looking to update the website, and then the Chinese website will go live. So we need to get part of the website translated as well, but we're going to make some website updates. We can host the website and link that in the Telegram channel early. So now you've mentioned it, we will actually get that out there and make some updates there for you guys. And when can we expect the release of the alpha discussion platform? I will pass that to Karim.
Thank you, Fola. So the alpha discussion platform is predicated on the Tau language. And as you heard Ohad mention a little bit earlier for a different question, we're looking for a few months for that to be ready for use. So I'm thinking perhaps towards the end of next year, we could start seeing the beginnings of the first alpha platform discussions.
Brilliant. Thank you very much, Karim. And the next question is from Alexandria, and they ask, hi, Andre, for those who kept their Agoras tokens on Omni Wallet, would you also add Omni Wallet on Agoras Live, just like adding a MetaMask wallet? I hope you could do this as well to remove transaction costs. Thank you.
Currently, Agoras Live is relying on Web3 application technology that is widely used by Ethereum and Binance capable web wallets, web extensions like the MetaMask wallet, like Fortmatic wallet, and other kind of wallets. If it's possible to integrate Omni Wallet into the website, so it will work both on the desktop and on the mobile, of course, I will do it for sure. I will see what I can do. Thanks.
All right, brilliant. Thank you very much, Andre. And the next question is from Theodore, and they ask, how would decentralization work on the blockchain of Tau chain when using its proof of computation?
So we envision a computational network basically where everybody can contribute their CPU capabilities to solve logical problems and give proof of execution that they've done so correctly. So by design, the system is going to be distributed. So it'll work by design in a distributed way. That's how it's supposed to be.
Brilliant. Thank you very much, Karim. And the next question is from Bill Baker, and they ask, since May 2019, Tezos has undergone 10 protocol upgrades. Do you foresee Tau being capable of doing day-by-day upgrades?
Yes, so as I answered earlier, Tau will be able to upgrade itself in alignment with users' consensus, basically from block to block. And ultimately, it depends what the users collaboratively decide on, how big the interval will be to have these, to decide in between these upgrades. So it could be 1 minute, every hour, every day, every week. It really depends on what the users ultimately agree upon. But theoretically, it's possible to even have multiple protocol upgrades per day.
Brilliant. Thank you very much, Killian. And the next question is from Sally Adams, and they ask, does Ahad think artificial intelligence of any kind poses a substantial existential risk to humanity over the next 50 years? Are there benefits relating to this using logical AI?
The question that is really interesting is whether artificial intelligence increases or reduces the general risk of the probability of existential risk, because there are existential risks for many things that are unrelated to artificial intelligence. And with artificial intelligence, there are some new risks So this takes the probability higher, but there is also ability to mitigate the other risks, which takes the probability lower in overall calculation. What is the bottom line answer? Well, of course, I don't know, but indeed, artificial intelligence opens some risks, but also mitigate some other risks. Now, there are benefits to logical AI, and there are further benefits to tau in this scope. In logical AI, you can say in logic things that you don't want to happen, and then you are guaranteed that they will not happen. So that's one way to reduce the risk using logical AI. Further way, by using specifically tau, is that you can ask who owns this AI that poses risk to humanity. Maybe it is owned by one malicious actor, so the risk will be higher, but on tau, this artificial intelligence is owned by everyone, and by that we get additional risk reduction.
All right, thank you very much, Ahad. And the next question is from Robert, and they ask, is the tau language already in a state where it can be used to build software from requirements? If not, what needs to be done in order to be able to do so?
Yes, I gave some details on that in this month's update and other questions, answers to other questions.
All right, great stuff. And the next question is from Tim, and they ask, when do you plan to launch the chain? I am a locked Agoras token holder.
So currently we're focusing all of our developments on the TML release, the Agoras Live, and the software specification language, which is the most core component of our technology. Once that is ready, we will be able to focus on the blockchain development. So we're thinking about 18 months from now, probably. That's a more realistic time frame. But also before that, we're looking at releasing some functionality with respect to the proof of execution network that will be, like I said earlier, in a distributed network for renting proof of computation network. So it's the beginning and it's the foundation of our chain of the tau blockchain network. So that should be much sooner than that.
All right, the next question is from Gil, and they ask, what advancements does tau bring to the current world of program specification?
Yes, so I can mention 4 points, which are expressiveness, infinite domain, speaking about its own sentences, and real-life concepts. So the first two try to be addressed in the literature. So you want the software specification language to be expressive enough to be able to express complex software, not just very simple machines, and also related to the point of infinite domains. So common software specification languages speak only about fixed and finite set of states or kinds of inputs that can happen, like elevator, there are only fixed number of buttons you can push and behaviors that the elevator can take. But to break those barriers into something that looks more like everyday software, that there are infinitely many ways, that scenarios that can happen, that's an ongoing effort by the community of formal methods. And there we had a very significant breakthrough that is maybe, I'm pretty sure it's orders of magnitude better than everything that was discovered before. The other 2 points are not commonly recognized as needs, but we recognize them as needs. One is allowing real-life concepts to be incorporated into the language. After all, software specification doesn't come from vacuum. It comes from some real-life needs, some real-life plan, and you want to incorporate the real-life aspects with the specification language. So you want a language that can speak not only about software, but also about real life. And this is something that we were able to achieve. And to speak about its own sentences, that's something that if you ask the next logician in the street, they will tell you that that's strictly impossible. But we found the conditions under which it's possible, and we were able to make this possible indeed in a very robust solution, like the example I always give about the 4th law of robotics. So you have the 3 laws of robotics by Asimov, and you want to have a 4th law that says that any future software update of the robot will still admit the laws of robotics. So the current program of the robot need to be able to speak about sentences in the same language. It need to look at the sentences in the update, which is in the same language, and ask whether it is consistent with the laws of robotics. And that's something that people commonly believe that it is impossible to do, but we found a way to do it. So I guess those are 4 major points that our software specification language is much better than any other existing one.
All right, brilliant. Thank you very much, Ahad. And the next question and last question is from Will. And they ask, how many languages are natively supported over Tau? I understand that there is a Tau meta language, TML, and the Tau language. Are there others, and how do they tie in together?
Basically, there are no other languages than the ones you mentioned. TML is used for the Internet of Languages for being a compiler to support other languages. But beyond that, it is also a very powerful execution engine. And it will also be execution engine for the Tau language. And the proof of execution will be implemented over TML. So the Tau language will enjoy proof of execution because it will ride on TML as an execution engine. But the Tau language as for itself is divided into two parts that ride on each other in a very sophisticated way, but they can still be separated and seen as two languages. One part is the knowledge representation part, the description logic. The other part is the temporal part, which is the software specification language. So yes, you can divide TML into two. From theoretical perspective, it is coming down to what is called atomic Boolean algebra and atomless Boolean algebra, and they ride on each other in a highly non-trivial way.
All right, brilliant. And that is it for the Tau Q&A for August. Thank you so much for tuning in with all your questions. Please continue to ask questions using the Q&A form that you can find on Telegram and on our socials as well. All right, that's it. Thank you very much. Cheers. Bye.